Hello again, Broncos country.
Really excited to chop up some Broncos with y'all this week.
Bourbon, Broncos, and no BS.
It is the time, your favorite time of the week. But not for the Raiders, Chargers, or Chiefs. So grab your brews and your fantasy league. We got that blue and orange blood that you bleed. The most loyal fans there ever could be. We are that mile high Broncos country.
Orange Weekly. Fans, brews, and Broncos news.
Hello again, Broncos country. We're here, Sunday night football. What an action-packed morning full of games. And we're ready to take on the San Francisco 49ers on Sunday night football. David and I are here for your tailgate talk. This is every week before 1 hour before the show, we get on, have a couple drinks, talk about what we're excited to see on the show. So we don't do this without you guys. Please make sure you're commenting, letting us know how you feel about this upcoming game tonight. David, so far, how you feeling about this upcoming day night? You excited for it?
I'm excited. I'm excited, Jared. That's all. It's game night. I'm always high key on game day. And no matter, doesn't matter if you think it's going to be a tough game, you think it's going to be a defensive battle the whole game, which if you listen to the pregame podcast, and we know you all did, you're going to be able to know that we do think that for the most part. But anyway, I'm high key excited, Jared, not just low key excited. How about you?
Not just low key. All right, well, I'm high key excited because we got three people on today. John's here with us. Oh, I'm going to have to cover his face. I'm just going to keep it there. John, how are you feeling about this game today?
First of all, yeah, people don't need to see my face. It's fine, Jared.
Yeah.
I'm excited. It's Sunday. Football is here again. So I'm excited. I hope that we've gotten some of our issues figured out throughout the week. And we're going to find out pretty soon if that's the case.
Yeah, no, I think that's something that we're going to talk about today. Some of the issues we've been having the last couple of weeks. Big news of hiring. I already forgot his name. The guy that came over was retired for a year, and he came over from the Ravens to kind of be our game manager. I think be in his ears to make sure he's Nathaniel Hackett is managing the game. I mean, I don't know how to feel about it yet. The announcement was a little weird, coming on like a Friday. Before a Sunday night game. I know he was in Denver all week, but kind of announcing it was just a weird timing for me.
Yeah, I get that. And it's the kind of announcement that you'd rather just not have to had made at all. You'd rather just, have your coach just be able to handle it all. But that's not the universe we live in. It'll be interesting to see how much of an effect it makes right away. I think everybody kind of expecting this to be a big deal tonight. I don't know. Like, to me, that's just, it's great to have him, but Jared, isn't that just one more voice now in the coach's headset? Like one of like 10 or 12 during the game.
Yeah, that's huge because you have your offensive quality control guy, you have your game manager, you have your receivers coach. They're all in your ear telling you what you need to worry about the offense. And then as a head coach, you're also most of the time one ear is also on defense, so you can kind of hear what they're talking about, what they're feeling. So I'm interested to see. You're right, there's an extra ear in there. However, I think the thought process based on the timing was to bring him in to teach him a little something. Right, kind of bring him in to be like, hey, this is how you probably should be doing it. And then after a while, he was like, you know what, I like you around. Let's get you a paycheck. And I think that's more of what's going on than anything else. You're right. I don't expect immediate results. I expect probably we talked about in the pregame, David, but I expect probably maybe not any more delay of games, but at least one timeout that we're gonna have to take because we just weren't ready. I'm definitely expecting at least one or two of those. But
I agree.
We'll see.
So that's what we're talking about, Michael. We're talking about the game manager. I don't know. What do you think, John?
Yeah, I'm just curious what role he's actually going to have. He's not going to be the one calling the timeouts. He's not going to be the one how's that coordination all going to happen?
Right.
They said that he's going to be fulfilling this role in this game starting today. So, yeah, I'm just curious to see how that all plays out. And is he talking through someone? Is he talking directly to Hackett? Is it more of a conversation back and forth? I never heard of this situation with other teams either.
Well, you don't hear about it because you don't see the problem like you do with us. But if you look around the league, there's a lot of head coaches that have assistant head coaches, and that's exactly what they are.
Right.
They're not coordinators. They're not position coaches. They're assistant head coaches to do just this. We're just talking about it because we've had such a problem with it for the first two games. But yeah, he's going to be up in the booth and he's going to be on the headset. So it's going to be interesting to see if he could block out the noise of everybody else and make sure that he's listening to, because some of our game management stuff was offensive related, like more offensive coordinator getting the plays out related. But I think they're talking about more of like the use of timeouts, making sure we're getting on the field fast enough, if we're going to kick or not. I think that was last week we had a situation where we didn't know if we were going to go for it or kick the field goal, and the indecision made us use a timeout. I think that's the kind of stuff they're looking to use.
We didn't use in fact, that I remember that drive. We didn't use a timeout. We got a delay of game, which backed us out of field goal range.
And then we had to punt it.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Again, you don't see very often in the NFL.
Right. That's So what? All right, we've talked a lot about now, and deservedly about stuff that it's like oof a little bit. What are you guys excited about? Because it's amazing makes up a really good point here. We can make up the Seahawks loss tonight if we win. All the other AFC West teams lost today. The Chiefs lost to the Colts.
Yeah, they did.
The Colts that got blown out by the Jaguars.
Now the 0-1-1, the 0-1-1. Well, and then you saw the Chargers get blown out by the Jaguars too. So
the Jaguars are good. That's the thing.
I
think the Jags are kind of legit. It doesn't. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel like the Chiefs have one of these games every year where they just come up against some team that you're like, oh yeah, they'll win that game by 40, and then they lose. And then they're still, the number 2 seed in the playoffs. So I'm not like that concerned about the Chiefs as far as from that standpoint. But the other losses, I mean, the Raiders, oof. What's going on in Vegas, boys?
What's going on in Vegas is Josh McDaniels is their head coach, and he's. I don't know the stat. I want to look it up real quick, but I saw it earlier. I think he's like 17-45 or something like that as a head coach, like something ridiculous as a head coach. The fact that he even has a job still is kind of funny to me.
It made my heart so happy when you said that. That was amazing.
I loved to see the Raiders just burn with Josh McDaniels at the head. It's just like a dream come true.
Yeah, so they lost to the Titans who couldn't beat the Giants, the Titans who got blown out by who last week? Oh, the Bills.
The Bills.
That's fair, but I don't know.
Which another crazy loss. I know it's not AFC West, but the Bills lose. So that's
another. The Dolphins are going to be a problem this year. Their defense is really good, and Mike McDaniels apparently is not a fraud. Like he can coach that offense. That's ridiculous. I mean, they got Jalen Waddle, who is fucking good. They got the best receiver in the league, who he might decline, but he ain't declining yet. You know what I mean? Like, oof.
Mike McDaniel, he just reminds me. It's like if David was a head coach and just high all the time. I really think that's how this guy coaches, and apparently it works.
I like that. I mean, that's the thing. It's working for him too. Like,
what? You can't knock it.
What are you smoking? Give the rest to some to Nathaniel Hackett, please. Sorry,
I know this isn't Broncos related. I don't want to go too far down the down the rabbit hole, but they might be in some hot water after the way they dealt with the Tua situation. So,
that's gonna bear watching this week for sure. There may have been some fuckery there.
Yeah, they may be getting some fines. Some people may get suspended. There might be a big investigation into that situation. But let's go back to talking Broncos. Broncos 49ers tonight, number 1 defense in the league. Let's talk a little bit about injuries. I'm going to pull up the injury report real quick.
Is it out yet? I can't find it. Maybe I'm just dumb.
Yeah, I just saw it.
Yeah.
I say that and I don't have it pulled up. Dave,
you got it pulled up? Big news there potentially.
I do not have it.
I know Armstead's on the inactives. I know Jerry Jeudy and Patrick Surtain are both good to go, and KJ Hamler are good to go.
Kittle will play for the 49ers.
And then, like I said, Armstead being out on their defense is a huge thing for us. I think that's a big help for us in the interior to be able to run it up the middle if we need to. But they still got a real scary front seven, as we talked about in the pregame podcast. So, inside linebackers. Oh, so another person, Josie Jewell, not on that injury list. So he'll be going to another guy that we've been talking about trying to get back. So yeah, inside linebackers need to hold strong. I agree. They always do. They don't really have a running back that's going to run it to the inside, but we need to be able to run sideline to sideline. And I don't know if our inside linebackers are going to be the ones doing it, or if we're going to stay in a nickel package the whole game. I'm interested to see how we play defensively against a team like this.
Well, and I'll tell you what, the inside we don't expect a ton of inside running with Deebo Samuel being their primary running back, but they're going to do it just to keep the defense honest. They're going to try, and it's Deebo Samuel. So if he gets out of the line of scrimmage there, past that line of scrimmage, you better have those linebackers tackling, or there's going to be problems.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get him on an end around, that's scary. And then they do have Jeff Wilson too, who he's not a scrub by any means. They like to use him after Elijah Mitchell went down last year, and now that he's down again this year, it's kind of 50-50. It seems like between Samuel and Jeff Wilson. So they're going to still run the ball. They are very much a running team still. Our inside linebackers are going to be put to the test. This is the best tight end we faced this year with Kittle being active today. So that's going to be a huge test. We traditionally do not do well against tight ends. So, fingers crossed that this defense can hold up. This is the first test, I think, the first big test for our defense this year.
Okay. Yeah, I agree totally. Absolutely agree with you there. Here's the complete inactive list tonight. It's going to be Jonathan Cooper. Not complete inactive, but there's 2 inactives here. Jonathan Cooper and Tyree Cleveland. So it's going to be Nick Bonito. Tyree Cleveland does have a little bit of a hamstring issue, it looks like. But with KJ Hamler and Jerry Jeudy able to go, should be less of a urgent need for him. Nick Bonito.
Jalen Virgil has a healthy scratch as well. Just as
Nick Bonito will probably play tonight, guys. We saw Jonathan Cooper play rotational snaps when he was healthy. So what do you guys think? What do you think we should expect from Nick Bonito tonight?
Yeah, I'd like a big game as a change of pace for Chubb and Gregory on the outside. Do you think it's going to be a big change of pace for him? I'd like to see him out there. You're right. He's got good sideline. He played middle linebacker originally in college. We kind of moved him to the outside after we drafted him.
I think you're thinking of Baron Browning. No, Nick Bonito.
I'm thinking of Baron Browning. Yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Sorry,
Mm-hmm.
you're right.
Yeah.
Nope. Going back to it. Good change of pace. That's all.
Yeah,
I'm expecting a good change of pace. I expect him to be snaps. I don't expect him to be perfect.
Okay. Yeah.
But back to injuries. How big is it that Jeudy and Surtain are playing today? I know that was kind of leaning that way, but for it to be official, I think Surtain probably the bigger of the two, just because he is our best cornerback. He's already one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, and then Jeudy just providing that different dimension on offense.
Yeah, it's a big deal. Absolutely. Surtain's ability to tackle in the open field, I think, is going to be really important this game. We talked about that a lot on the podcast. Just all of the players' ability to tackle in the open field in this game is going to be a big deal tonight. But yeah, Surtain has that plus skill in that regard. So it's going to be really good to have him.
Going up against Debo, I mean, that's huge.
Absolutely.
Otherwise, Otherwise, we're putting who? The rookie on him?
Or, Darby, who's actually, I'll say this, Ronald Darby's played well. This year so far. Hopefully,
they seem to be keeping him on the opposite side of the field, though, even when Surtain was out. So we had, I can't think of his name. Was it Mathis?
Damari Mathis. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Who was up against Brandon Cooks last week. And honestly, he played great. For his third game in the NFL. But it is very relieving to have Surtain back.
Well, and it's going to be good to have him against, Ayuk too. He's 6 foot, only 6. I mean, I say only 6 foot, but he's 201 pounds. He's a big man. So to be able to have a guy who can be fast but also be physical like Surtain, going to be a big deal tonight.
Yep, absolutely. I'm going to go back to it. I started it. We'll kind of finish off on this. I think the lack of Eric Armstead on the defense is going to be huge for us.
Speaking of that D-line, 49er D-line versus Bronco O-line matchup, this probably won't come into the game, but Quinn Miners is actually active tonight as an emergency backup.
Ooh.
So looks like
he's not going to be on a snap. He's like an emergency just in case something happens. Mm-hmm. He'll be able to go in, but they're trying not to get him out there if they can't.
But it's good to have him, back after just 2 games out.
Yeah,
1 game out really.
Yeah,
so
really expect him to be back next week.
Yeah,
in that starting role.
Yeah,
I think that's been a position of real weakness for us since he's been out, and probably the biggest issue on our offensive line, borderline maybe offense total. So I wish he was back tonight, but it is good that if Glasgow goes down, then we have him to plug in there. Otherwise, I don't know who our third would be.
Is Moody still up from the practice squad?
I think they did pull him back up again. This week.
I thought so. Okay. All right.
So on the defensive side, Randy and Chubb have to set the edge. DJ and Draymond have to plug the middle 100%.
Let me see.
And then we have to be able to keep the edge.
Draymond was questionable, and he didn't practice yesterday at all.
I didn't see him on the list. Let me see if I can pull it up real quick.
I think he's in.
Didn't see him on the list. Let's see.
Trying to search on the Twitter.
It's the number one source of news.
Right. Another little interesting tidbit while we wait, so we don't have dead air here. We've got Cam Fleming slated to start at right tackle again. Billy Turner, even though he's a full practice participant, game day inactive. So, okay. And at least Draymond Jones is active and will play. Okay.
Yep.
All right. Well, that is a good that's a big deal. We saw DJ Jones get hurt a little bit, but in the last game, he'll be back too. But yeah, like Samazing says, having Randy Gregory to help set that edge along with Draymond and DJ Jones, that's been a big deal for this run defense so far this season.
Absolutely. Got to get Gregory to get after Jimmy G. Let's talk a little bit about Jimmy G. What are we expecting? The first 2 games they play with Trey Lance. Jimmy G gets $350,000 every time he wins a game. I think it's $250,000 every time he plays, and an extra $100,000 every time he wins. He could be the most highest paid backup quarterback in history if he gets a couple wins here. But what are we thinking? Like, it's not like we haven't seen Jimmy G in a San Francisco offense. It's not like we haven't seen him in this specific offense. Are we expecting to see anything different tonight that we may not have seen if we had Trey Lance, or obviously with the run game, but anything that we wouldn't see without him?
More just straight up drop back passing, quick game. I think Trey Lance is definitely more of that hold the ball and make the play kind of quarterback, and then maybe not hold the ball, maybe run if it's not there on your first read, but try to make the big play either way. We're definitely not going to see that with Jimmy G, but I do think we're going to see him try to be distributing the passes, short passes, and trying to get the ball out really fast.
Yeah, probably more traditional offense compared to the run first quarterback, mobile quarterback, where they're actually designing. I mean, not that Russell Wilson's not, a mobile quarterback, but we're not designing run plays for him like they were for Trey Lance. I am curious how that changes their offensive, the gelling that they had going on, to use Ayla's word from last year, in their offense, because it seems like you'd almost have a totally different playbook with Jimmy G in there than what you'd have with Trey Lance.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a different scheme, a different ideology.
You're definitely not running power with Jimmy G.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the quarterback power.
Right. Yeah, not happening.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. You're right. I think they had to kind of this week in practice they had to completely change up what they'd been practicing all year. Again, luckily for us, we've seen this before. It's not like we can't go back to last year and pull their old tapes. Like they're just going to go back to their old playbook, and we're just going to go back to defending their old playbook. I think that's the way that it's going to have to go.
Well, and Russell Wilson has played against that team a lot, and I don't know what kind of attention he pays when the opposing offense is on the field, but he certainly knows Jimmy G as a player.
Well, not just Russell Wilson, but also DJ Jones and Quinn Williams.
Quinn Williams, absolutely.
So
good call.
They went up against him in practice all year last year.
It's Giro Evero too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Giro Evero, former Rams passing game defensive coordinator, definitely had, I'm sure, some interesting games against Jimmy G. Now we don't have an Aaron Donald, we do have kind of a Jalen Ramsey. I'm going to go ahead and say it. Pat Surtain's on that level. But yeah, we don't have an Aaron Donald, but still, I think they're going to have some nice things to cook up for Jimmy G.
Yeah, for sure. All right, what are we expecting out of Russell Wilson today? I'm going to say it. Let's bring it up. Drop it. What you got?
I don't know. I don't know.
Better. How about this? Better than the start of last week, because it was real rough that first half. The whole game was pretty rough, but specifically that first half. I think it was 3 for 11 at one point, and he just looked very uncomfortable. And maybe he's just still getting into this playbook, and maybe it's still some of that going on, but.
And you saw, you're right. It wasn't all the way there, but you see a quarterback trying to still build chemistry with receivers he doesn't know yet. Yeah. And then you lose Jerry Jeudy, a guy who you had been playing really well with, which leaves you with Cortland Sutton, who and boy, did he feed Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, he did.
But, you tried to feed Albert Okwuegbunam. He dropped the ball. Tyree Cleveland had a big drop in that game as well.
Kendall had he had one big catch, but I think he had one drop.
Yeah, Hinton had a big catch, but like you said, he's got they're mixing good with bad that way, and it's just everybody's trying to work it out still. It's another reason where maybe preseason reps would have been a good thing, but you can't get back in time now. It's just got to go forward there.
Yeah, 100%.
Right. Well, we got our 2 preseason games out of the way now, so I'm kind of expecting a little bit more of that chemistry. But again, you got Jerry Jeudy and KJ Hamler back in the lineup today, guys that and for not for nothing have been practicing limited status for the last couple of days, so he doesn't even have like a full healthy practice with either of those guys yet. So we'll see how the chemistry is. I want to see this. Here's what I want to see. I want to see less time on the audibles. I want to see less time on the audibles. I want to see something that we talked about on the Tuesday show. I think we talked a little bit on the pregame podcast. Something that was kind of frustrating me is how many times the quarterback has to say the audible to the whole line and to the wide receivers. He has to tell these guys like 4 or 5 times on both sides before he can get under center. I'd like to see it kind of get to a point where, and it's not his fault, but just in general, everybody understanding what the audibles mean. Yeah. And just making it, hey, blue, 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 and then we're ready to go. Or switch, ready to go. Instead of saying like, I said switch. He's like, what? You said what? I said switch. Like that's how I feel like they're playing down there. And I just want to see it. I just want to see it a little smoother. That's all.
I like how you went with blue, Jared, instead of Omaha. Are we just like saving that that's a Manning only?
That's a Manning thing. That's a Manning thing. Yeah.
I know. It's still a good example. I like it. No, but better communication, honestly, between Hackett and Russell. Like, oh my God, if we get more delay of game penalties where it's like very clearly we're not getting out of the huddle fast enough, not getting enough time to read the defense, that kind of thing. I just want to see that cleaned up. One thing to note, guys, Tom Brady literally just did the same thing to lose the game against the Packers on their 2-point conversion. I don't know if you saw that. End of the game, 2-point conversion to tie it, and they got delayed game penalty on the 2-point conversion. So
that did happen.
That did happen. It can happen to anybody. So obviously that's more of a one-off with Brady and the Bucks. But let's get closer to where it's an anomaly for the Broncos.
Yes, absolutely. I'm just going to take a break real quick. Let you guys know that we have a lot of content that we're putting out here at Orange Weekly. We have our Tuesday flag shows. Monday nights are Orange Weekly After Dark with Jason. We have pregame podcast, postgame podcast. You can check those all out here. Obviously, a tailgate talk that we're doing right now. And then at halftime, when you pick up your phones and you're super happy because we're winning or super sad because we're not doing so hot, pick up the phones, watch that halftime hash where today I'll be just rapid fire answering your guys' questions. If you can want to find our pregame, postgame podcast, you can find on Apple, Spotify, iTunes. Just search Orange Weekly, and we will pop up right there for you. And while I'm talking about listening to podcasts, guys, when I'm listening to my podcast, I like to listen with my Raycon Everyday Earbuds. And David, you know why I like to listen with my Raycon Everyday Earbuds?
I do know why, Jared. I think it has something to do with those soft, supple, luxurious gel tips.
Ooh, supple. That's a good word for it. But yes, I love. They feel like a cloud in your ear. The optimized gel tips, they fit perfectly in the ear, and it's awesome. And they give you 8 hours straight of playtime, 32-hour battery life, and guys, it's over half the price of the premium audio brands. There's no wonder why there's 50,000 5-star reviews. So here's what I need you guys to do. If you guys want the earbud tap functions, the 3 customizable sound profiles, the noise isolation and awareness mode, go to buyraycon.com today and use promo code TPPN15 to get 15% off your Raycon order. That's code TPPN15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com, code TPPN15. And I'm gonna lead into our next read. Let's talk a little bit about what you guys. So the money line I think right now is 1.5 on for against the Broncos, which is funny. We talked about on the Tuesday show before the news of Trey Lance. It was 1.5 for the Broncos, and then when they found out it was going to be Jimmy G, all of a sudden it switches. What do you guys? How are you guys feeling about this game? Is there any big bets on DraftKings that you guys are looking at?
I'll be 100% honest with you, Jared. I have not looked at DraftKings this season yet, and I'll tell you why that is. I did.
Yeah, not one of our sponsors or anything.
No, I mean,
yeah, it's not like
No, it's it. I'll tell you what, DraftKings. I know you're a great sponsor. You've been doing really well by our show. Send me a few credits. Send me a few of those free bets, and man alive, I'm yours forever. We'll get to money lines. We'll get to over unders. Last year was such a disaster for me betting wise that I was burned so hard that I can't go back. I will say it really is interesting. Don't you guys think that they put that much in on Jimmy G's experience? That Vegas puts that much stock in him coming in and playing this game. I don't know. It's Jimmy G.
Yeah, I think I will stand by my comments earlier this week and say that Jimmy G makes the 49ers a better team in the immediate future. Trey Lance, obviously the future, once he is healthy, so starting next year, I guess, at this point. So I'm not too surprised it's like a 3-point swing when he became labeled the starter. But what I do like about that is that makes that money line bet just a higher payout for me if the Broncos end up pulling out this game, because in my opinion, what's the point of taking a 1.5 spread for the Broncos when I could just take the money line and
take the money line,
take a little bit better payout? If we lose by 1 point, I will be eating those words, obviously. But
all right, we go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app right now. We got San Francisco 49ers are now -2, so it kind of went up a little bit. They're -2 2-point favorites. We got Russell Wilson and Jimmy G right around the 235-yard mark. Jimmy G at 236.5, and Russell Wilson at 234.5. Do we think Russell Wilson goes over or under that?
I'm going to give him the over.
Yeah. The over on that one. I think it'll be closer to 250. obviously Vegas is very good at doing what they do, so it's probably going to be right at 235 or something like that. I do love Cortland Sutton this week. 57.5 is what I saw. I'm not sure what the current line is. I think after last week, yes, Judy's back. Yeah. Do we feel like Judy's going to be 100%? Is he going to get the normal looks that we expect from him for the rest of the year? Maybe. Obviously, hopefully for the Broncos, but I do think that that chemistry between Sutton and Russell Wilson, I think, is there, and I think he trusts him. He's going to keep going to him. So I like the yards on. I like honestly every bet for Sutton this week. 4.5 receptions, 57 yards, and longest reception of I think 23.5 is what I got at.
Yeah, he's at 56.5 receiving yards right now as it stands, 20 minutes before kickoff. Here's the other one I like. Eric Saubert is over 2.5 yards total yards.
You're not looking at his receptions? You're looking
I had to double check.
Right.
I did the double take.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I apologize. That you're right. 2.5.
2.5 yards.
Oof. Oof. All right.
That might be a hammer. He's gotten a reception in every game so far this year. We've been using him. He got a touchdown last week. He's obviously able to get open. Obviously, Alberto is our lead tight end, but we put those double tight end sets. Eric Saubert comes in and always seems to find a couple plays where he's getting the ball. That's a good bet.
Do you see any odds where he's the only touchdown scorer in the game? Is that anywhere?
I could probably find it. Touchdown.
I don't think that bet exists, but it has to be minus 20,000.
Anytime to score. It's got to be in here, so I'll got to keep scrolling though.
Touchdown score maybe.
Plus 1,300, plus 1,300.
1,300 to score a touchdown anytime.
Let's see. Tied with him and Kendall Hinton. If you want to take Mike Boone to score anytime, it's 2,200.
Man, the way they seem to want to utilize him, that might not be a terrible bet.
Guys, everybody, we're talking about our DraftKings Sportsbook. We're talking about it because DraftKings Sportsbook every year they do great things. And they're the official sports betting partner of the NFL. We're talking touchdowns, big plays, even bigger wins this week. $5 if you are a new customer. You got $5 for any NFL team to win. That includes the Broncos. You get $200 in free bets if they do. No questions asked. You bet $5, you get $200 in free bets if they win. If that's not enough, everyone can boost their winnings with steps up same game parlays. We're talking about a lot of those in our talks right now. And for every leg you add, you can boost your winnings up to 100% just by adding it. And that's if you are an old customer, new customer, whoever you are. This is what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to download that DraftKings Sportsbook app right now and use the promo code TPPN to get $200 in free bets if your team wins when you place a $5 bet on any football game. That's code TPPN only at DraftKingsSportsbook.com, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See those show notes for details. Yeah, I'm looking at these same game parlays. It looks like, let's see. If you take Broncos money line, no, I don't want 49ers. Get out of here. All right, here we go. Broncos money line, over 21 points for the Broncos and over 2.5 touchdowns. It's plus 200.
Wow.
Okay.
So talking pretty good same game parlays. 2.5 touchdowns over having one touchdown in the first quarter, and Denver Broncos leading the first quarter is plus 350. So there's a lot of really cool same game parlays, guys. So go check out DraftKings.com and let us know how you fare.
Yeah, my parlay of the game, Broncos obviously. Russell Wilson over 224.5. Javonte Williams over 44.5 rushing yards, and then Cortland Sutton over 44.5 receiving yards. That's plus 265, or at least it was about an hour ago. So obviously I'm wearing my orange glasses here, and please, this is no professional opinion. This is my own. I like the Broncos, and I'm going to bet on the Broncos' opinion.
There's been crazy things happening this week today.
Just
lots
insane.
Of crazy games happening. I don't know what to expect after watching the first games today. We could sit here and talk all analytics all you want, but who would have thought Indy beating Kansas City was talked about ever by anybody?
Well, and I'll tell you what. I just watched the highlights of that on Football Night in America. That could have been the Chiefs game. They're only in that position because Travis Kelce, a ball bounces off his hands that he catches like 100 times out of 100 in the end zone on third down.
Yeah.
And then they miss the field goal that is extra point length from there. So it's just, it was just one of those bad luck twice in a row. Never happens for the rest of the season. Chiefs games, and they're going to be fine. But I'm not so sure about the Chargers.
Is Herbert? Is he not feeling too good?
I think he's okay, man.
No, he's not.
I don't think he's good.
Like, I saw him get hit, and like they showed a slow-mo of him getting up, and his face looks like me when I'm trying to get out of bed in the morning, and the back is just not. It's like that. He is not feeling it right now.
Yeah,
and I don't know why they insisted on just running him out there. Like, I get it. It's, you want to win all your games, but
well, it's a divisional game too, so that makes a little bit more pressure. But
it's a conference game, but it's not a divisional game. It's the Jaguars
conference.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, but
so I'm stuck in last week when they played the
right. Yeah.
Last week I get kind of, he was hurt, and you got one of those stories where it's like he played the whole second half with a broken hand or dead leg, whatever it was. But yeah, he's not feeling too hot. So the Chargers are 1-2.
Mm-hmm.
The Chiefs are now 2-1, and our favorites, the Raiders, are 0-3.
Say it again.
And it feels so good. It feels so good.
I need that.
Oh man!
I'm gonna scroll back up here, and Jared, I'm gonna want you to put this comment out for me because D-Rock had it first. D-Rock is on it. Member of Team Puffball is D-Rock, and we're really glad to have him here as always. But yeah, the Raiders 0-3, 0-3. It's as stinky as it's been to watch the Broncos be a disorganized mess for 2 weeks in a row. The Raiders being 0-3, that just
Josh McDaniels being there just makes it so much sweeter.
And all of that, whatever they gave up for Javonte Adams, this, that, and the other thing, and how that was supposed to be a big deal for their offense.
Yeah. And all the talk about how the Raiders were going to do so much better than the Broncos, and we're going to finish bottom of the AFC West across the board. There's still a lot of football left to be played, but from the looks of it right now, I don't think they're digging themselves out of this hole.
Yeah, just looking at the rest of our division, if we can go 2-1 and be sitting number 2 there?
Number 2, tied with number 2 with KC because we haven't played any divisional games.
So
technically KC will be 1 because they've won a divisional game, but
whatever. Tied for the lead. That would be very nice sitting after week 3. It'll make the Seattle game feel like a distant memory.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Well, because then after this week we got the Raiders.
That's it. I was going to look up
Denver. Or are we going to Vegas?
To Vegas
so we're in
first.
Vegas.
Yeah.
Which I like.
0-3 Raiders.
I'd rather have the home game be later in the season, as late in the season as you can for all your division games.
Yeah. So it's gonna be big. It's gonna be huge. Interested to see how that turns out. And but we have a game tonight, and we have to get through. Jimmy G and the 49ers.
Still
gonna be huge,
test, in my opinion, so far.
Yeah, it's a tougher test for sure. I think tonight's a much tougher test.
Yeah.
Well, talking about how we didn't do so hot on Monday night, right? We're spotlight game, a primetime game. We didn't do very good. Obviously, it was week 1, so there's a lot of jitters to shake out. But you'd like to hope that we come back in a night game, have a little bit of a rebound on a primetime game.
They do play the 49ers well in those blues, too. I have to say, the home blues, the all blues with the blue pants and the jersey. I like that uniform, first of all. But the last time they played the 49ers in that uniform, good things happened. So,
yep. Our founder Kev is actually at the game today. He would be with us if he wasn't. He actually gave us the insight that apparently there's a lot of 49ers jerseys in that stadium, unfortunately. So
might be a little loud for the Broncos when they're on offense.
He was on there at noon. Maybe that just means that they just got there a lot more earlier than Broncos fans, and were trying to drink because they know they're going to need to be drunk for this game. I don't know.
He messaged that to us, and I swear I took a double take to make sure that we had the night game. Like
Yeah,
I was like, am I sure we don't have the afternoon game? Like he's already tailgating at noon for a 6 o'clock kickoff, 6:20 kickoff.
Kevin goes hard. I don't
He does
understand.
hard. I'm going to the Colts gate with him in 2 weeks, that Thursday night game, and I'm like, hey, what time are you planning on getting this? He's like, I don't know, 6 hours before when it opens. I'm like, oh, okay, well, I'll be working probably still.
Yeah, I have a job
on Thursday.
Man,
Good Lord. Oof.
All right, we got about 20 minutes to kick off. We want to get everybody time to get their beers and drinks, but let's go around the horn. Let's talk about how we think this game. Just a real quick. Let's first of all post your score predictions, because our score prediction is going to be huge here. If you get the score prediction right at the end of the year, we will do a draw and give a big award to whoever has it right, and then whoever wins that draw. So make sure you guys are posting your score predictions here. What are you guys thinking about for your score predictions?
Well, now, Jared, I picked the Broncos not to win this game in the pregame podcast.
I know you did.
Why would you
did.
do
I
that?
I'm
said
putting you on the spot.
because I at the time I thought they were going to lose. I think, what did I say, 13-10, something
Yes.
like that. I think. I still think it's going to be a defensive battle, but I will say the homerism on Twitter has swayed me today. So I think the Broncos do win this game. I still think it's going to be something in the vein of like 17-14 or 17-13. I would take the under if I was betting on this game, but I'm not betting on this game. And you probably shouldn't listen to me because, like I said, I didn't win a single dollar betting last year. So maybe don't.
At least $1.
Not one, not even a free bet. So yeah, take that with a grain of salt, but that's my prediction now, 17-14 Broncos. And welcome, Daniel.
Yes, welcome, Daniel. John, what you think? For the record, David, I'm not sure if you did that on purpose, but that was very close to what my actual guess was on the pregame. But we'll get there later.
Oh, did I steal your thunder? Oh, shoot.
Yeah, well, I said it first, so we're fine.
Did you?
I'm definitely taking the Broncos because this is a Broncos podcast, and I will pick the Broncos probably for any game that we're playing. I don't care if we're playing the Bills. I'm going to go with 24-17 Broncos.
Very similar to Anthony, who just posted his 23.
Pretty generic score there, 24-17.
Yeah, 24-17. I am going to stick with what I said earlier. I agree. I think it's going to be very defensive in this game. Unless for some reason, I think the only way it's not defensive is if our offense can figure it out.
Yeah.
If our offense can figure it out and we start scoring touchdowns, then they have to start doing things to try to find the end zone, then it becomes a high-scoring game. And I think it could really turn that real quick if we figured it out on offense. I don't think it will. I think it's going to be 17-13 Broncos. And that's going to – I also feel like most of the scoring is going to be done the second half. I think the first half is going to be a lot of trying to figure out each other. And then a lot of scoring in the second half. But I could be wrong. That's why we don't get paid to well, I guess technically we do get paid to make these predictions. Yeah, well,
Yeah, that's true.
you're still an intern, so
Yeah, that's right.
Really, all I get paid more for my post-game reactions. I just have to put them down on paper. That's all. Anyway,
Yes.
Go ahead, Jared.
yeah. Well, not physically on paper. You got to put them on the internet. You got to post them.
Speaking of which, week 2, this view from section 506. If you haven't read it, you've got about 15 minutes before it becomes, not irrelevant, but old news. So,
Yeah, because the new view from 506 is coming out after the game.
That's right. Well, probably around Tuesday or so. But we'll see.
Yeah, give him time, guys. Give him time to write it. It'll be
Guys,
fine.
I write for a living. I got bosses to satisfy before I can, come down for Orange. It's a whole thing. You heard. Mm-hmm.
I mean, all right. You satisfy your bosses, and we'll be fine.
You're just upset because you're not the boss I satisfy first anymore, Jared. And you used to be, and I miss it too. But here we are now.
Oh, man. All right, guys, let's go through 21-17. Keith, thanks for joining us. 21-17 Broncos. Daniel, 27-24 Broncos. Think it's going to be a little bit higher score. That would be the over. I think the over is, 42?
44.5.
Yeah.
44.5. So that would take the over. Yeah, I'm going to go with the under on this. I think it's going to be defensive scoring. But you know what? I'd love to see a 27-24 Broncos. I would love to see, like, what the Jags did to the the Chargers, honestly.
Yeah.
Just like, you get the ball, you drive down, and just over time, you just look at the score and you're like, oh, we're up by 3 scores. Like, it'd just be nice. It'd be nice to once
It would be nice. It would sure be nice.
Defense that bad. God.
Who?
Yeah, well.
Oh, yeah. Wait. And then I think they lost Joey Bosa today to an injury.
They did.
Yeah.
They did lose him, yeah.
So, and,
I don't know for how long. I haven't seen the official report, but I know he was out for the game.
He was. And Khalil Mack's an old man. Like, he's a good player still, but he's an old man, and he can't play 70 snaps a game anymore. So who's your pass rusher if Khalil Mack is needing a breather and Joey Bosa's not in there? Like, Derwin James is great, but he can play, like, at maximum 3 spots. Like, he can be right, yeah, in one play. He can be 3 guys on one play, and that's pretty impressive because he's fucking amazing. But he can only be 3. So,
and he almost had a big interception that game too when he dropped it.
Did you see him just throw fucking Travis Kelce into the ground last week? That made me feel so good.
It's like the other brother just watching the other 2 brothers beat each other up, and you're just like, yeah, beat him up, get him,
get him,
kick his ass. All right, guys, what do you say we wrap it up? Let's go around. We got about 10 minutes, 12 minutes to game time. Let's go ahead and wrap it up. Everybody go grab your drinks, get ready, get your snacks, get ready for the game. Go around the horn and talk about our final thoughts. John, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I just want to see some more cohesion. I know it's not going to be 100% probably today after 3, or in the 3rd game, but just still working towards that. I fully expected there to be players who were frustrated, quite frankly, but just less of it, please, and let's start looking, better on offense. Just more. Again, I'm just going to say cohesion. That's the word for this.
There it is. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what the defense does in this game. Like, and that's what the national media talk has really not been about. And I get it. The national media has to cover all of the teams when they talk about teams, so that you're going to hit one major talking point from all the team. And the major talking point right now is the Broncos offense. But the defense has been really, really great despite, the young coaching staff. And I am really, really interested to see what they do tonight against what's going to be, I think, their best test so far, too.
Yeah. That's huge. You're right. I think Evero last 2 games I think they've allowed 1 score in the second half in the past 2 games. So the halftime adjustments are absolutely there, which I think I love because that's something we haven't seen in a long time. But just in general, the defense has been playing very, very well. And our offense is struggling a little bit, but the glimpses of what could be and how great it could be are there. We just got to stop the self-inflicting wounds, the holds, the delay game penalties.
Oh, man.
Yeah, the penalties, just putting us in awkward situations, 2nd and longs, 3rd and longs. But if we get out of those situations, we're driving the ball well. Today we didn't even talk about Javonte Williams. And I don't know how we missed that. He's got 6 yards per carry on the season. We need to start feeding him on the inside a little bit more. And with Eric Armstead out, we feed Javonte Williams a little bit more, open up the pass. So while Russell Wilson, I get it, we're paying him the most money out of anybody on this team to throw, 40 passes a day. We got to get the ball to the guy who's getting 6 yards every time he touches it. And he's breaking 2 to 3 tackles on the way. So I think once we start getting it together and we start getting that good mixture, instead of like 12 runs and 40 passes, we get a little bit more even and even it out to open up the passing, then I think we'll be fine. I really do. I think this Denver Broncos team is going to be good. I think this game is hopefully the kickstart to what we could see, and specifically with our offense, and our defense just holds down Jimmy Garoppolo. And I think somebody said up here, I think Gregory put his face mask into the dirt or something like that a couple times, and we just see a good, solid, complete game from the Denver Broncos. If this could be the one, it would be awesome. Prime time. The rest of the AFC West is sucking it up today. It'd be great. So, all right.
Agreed.
You guys got anything else?
Nope.
That's it. I think we've said it all, bud.
I
All
think
right.
Carrie
Well,
Underwood's coming on, so it's about that time.
Yep, Carrie Underwood's coming on. Guys, thank you guys so much for joining us at the Tailgate Talk. I'll be back here at halftime. Make sure you're joining in. And as always, we end on a very strong
Go Broncos.
Go Broncos.
Do what I like, yeah, I do what I like, yeah, I do what I like. Sipping goose, sipping is right, and I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Yeah, I go with the flow. Cause I know I'm the show. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. In the zone, here I go. Yeah, they know